So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
The shit about Will Smith was ruthless. What you did is ridiculous. The way you're behaving is crazy. It didn't even make sense.
You and Joe Rogan.
We made a bet, and the bet was what? Within 12 months, there's going to be a divorce.
Now I'm crying for real. Okay.
No. I mean this honestly.
You know Joe Rogan. He's quite the influential figure in America. Wouldn't you agree? At 55 years old, this commentator and podcast host is known for never holding back his opinions, no matter the subject at hand. He's just all about saying it as it is, and you know what that means. Plenty of controversies along the way. Now, when it comes to famous actors and actresses, Rogan always has something interesting to say. I mean, he doesn't just talk for the sake of talking, he provides some really intelligent viewpoints. But here's the juicy bit. He recently had a lot to say about the one and only Oscar-winning actor Will Smith. And let me tell you, he didn't pull any punches when he delved into the subject of Smith's reputation. What really got Rogan going was how Jada's memoir and her publicity interviews have been affecting Will Smith's reputation. He went all in, sharing his thoughts on how these personal revelations and interviews are shaping public perception of the beloved actor. It's a hot topic right now, and Rogan made sure everyone knew where he stood on the matter. Joe Rogan, known for his candid and no-nonsense approach, didn't hold back when sharing thoughts on Jada Pinkett Smith. He found her actions rather embarrassing, and he had a pretty good reason for feeling that way. First off, Jada publicly revealed details about her relationship with Will Smith and their separation. This kind of personal information doesn't usually make its way into the public eye, especially in Hollywood. Joe couldn't help but cringe at the thought of Jada making such private matters so public. But that wasn't the end of it. Jada's tendency to talk openly about her relationships with other men, especially her claims about Tupac being her soulmate and sharing intimate details, raised some eyebrows. Joe found it a bit over the top and couldn't help but think that it was crossing a line into oversharing.
He is a soulmate. I know I will see him again.
You write about the day that Suge Knight delivered his ashes to you.
Right.
And I could feel your rage on that page. What can you tell us about that day?
Having to receive Pac's ashes in that way was a really devastating moment to just get him in this little cardboard box. And yeah, I was very rageful about the whole thing.
In his eyes, Jada's openness about her personal life, especially in regards to her past relationships and encounters, came off as a bit embarrassing. He believed there's a fine line between being honest and oversharing, and Jada seemed to have blurred that line, at least in his opinion. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's relationship has been a roller coaster ride over the years. Despite their continued marriage, there have been numerous speculations and rumors about the state of their union. As it turns out, Joe Rogan and Patrick Bet-David found themselves embroiled in a friendly bet concerning the Smiths' marriage. In a revealing moment on the Patrick Bet-David podcast, episode 148, Bet-David spilled the beans about his intriguing wager. He disclosed,
There was a $100 bet that was made, if you remember.
You and Joe Rogan.
We made a bet, and the bet was what? Within 12 months, there's going to be a divorce or there's not going to be a divorce.
Right.
Right? You remember
You
this.
said that there is going to be a divorce.
I bet on the $100 being a divorce.
And Rogan said no?
I said no one's willing to take me on this bet. He says, I'll bet you. Let's bet $100.
It's quite amusing how a seemingly modest sum of $100 became the focal point of a bet between these two prominent personalities, adding another layer of intrigue into the ongoing saga of Will and Jada Pinkett Smith's relationship. Bet-David didn't hold back when he brought up a particular video that had been making the rounds, featuring Jada Pinkett Smith and the dynamics of her relationship with Will Smith. In the video, Jada seemed to be taking a rather assertive stance towards Will. She pointed out,
I'm still dealing with foolishness,
alluding to their ongoing marital challenges, as Will expressed his displeasure with her actions and emphasized,
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay?
Bet-David went on to share his own candid thoughts about the situation between the famous couple. He didn't mince words, stating,
I think Jada's a bully. I think Jada Pinkett Smith is a bully, and she's bullying Will. And I think this guy has been sitting behind closed doors.
It's clear that Bet David had some strong opinions about the dynamic at play with the Smiths' relationship, and he didn't hesitate to express his viewpoint on the matter. This only adds more layers to the ongoing discussion and speculation surrounding Will and Jada Pinkett Smith's marriage. Rogan, ever the insightful commentator, also delved deeper into the underlying causes of the emotional turmoil that could have triggered Will. He emphasized the fact that the Smiths had endured an extended period of emotional distress, compounded by public scrutiny and criticism regarding the status of their open relationship. With the high-profile nature of their lives, especially Jada Pinkett Smith being the target of intense online criticism and even humor, such as Chris Rock's ill-fated joke, and the revelation of Jada's infidelity, it all seemed to accumulate in Will Smith's outburst. Rogan pointed out,
Well, I think what we're looking at also is the culmination of a long period of like emotional distress. Like that family's been public about all their issues, and there's a conversation that they had to have, like the two of them together, about infidelity or about open relationships, and they were openly mocked because of that. But I think there's a certain defensiveness that comes along with that. When you've been in the public getting mocked.
In essence, Rogan highlighted the toll that public scrutiny and judgment can take on individuals and relationships, especially when they've been so candid about their struggles within the public arena. And this is not the first time that he's talked about Jada and Will. Sometime back, Joe Rogan didn't stop discussing Will Smith's reputation and the impact of Jada's memoir and interviews. He actually went a step further and brought up that infamous Oscar slap incident. He suggested that the whole ordeal, where Will was caught using violence on live television, might be closely tied to his strained relationship with his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Rogan, with his characteristic candor, shared his belief that this shocking incident might have been the result of underlying tension in their relationship. It's not just about what we see on the surface, but about the personal dynamics that can lead to unexpected outbursts like that one. It's all part of the ongoing conversation about this high-profile couple, and Rogan definitely added a fresh perspective to it. Matt Walsh also talked about the whole thing. Matt Walsh really laid into Will and Jada Smith's marriage in this rant. He basically says that their relationship is a total train wreck, with both of them publicly dissing and embarrassing each other. He argues that a lack of respect in a marriage can lead to all sorts of problems, and he highlights how it's affected Will's confidence and image. Walsh is essentially telling us that a healthy marriage needs respect, and that the Smiths are a prime example of what not to do in a relationship.
So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
And once people like Joe started talking about the whole thing, many people voiced their own opinions. Candace Owens also talked about it.
Is Jada Pinkett Smith plausibly the most unlikable woman in Hollywood? I think she is.
Candace was pretty fed up with Hollywood, and she didn't mince her words. She straight up said she despised it because it's just crawling with fakes. She couldn't help but notice that everywhere you looked, there was some kind of phony business going on in Hollywood, and it was starting to get on her nerves.
You mean to tell me that since 2016, they've been putting on an act, hitting red carpets together, showing each other affection, better yet, preaching to the rest of us about how we should live our lives?
She grumbled, rolling her eyes.
Was not the purpose of Red Table Talk something cool and something cultural? Bring it to the table. We'll talk about these things that are so real and so honest and so brave and so straightforward. There was nothing brave, nothing straightforward about anything that she demonstrated, other than her ability to lie to the masses for years.
She leaned back, shaking her head in disappointment.
In fact, here's an example of that. She was on Watch What Happened Live, sitting down with Andy Cohen years ago, talking about how she keeps her relationship spicy, when in reality, they weren't even together.
Candace's frustration was pretty clear, and her words echoed the sentiment of many who were just plain tired of all the fakeness in Hollywood. For her, the glitz and glamour had lost its shine, replaced by a sense of letdown in the industry's knack for putting on a show. So, what do you think? Comment down below and let us know. If you like this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week, where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.